sir. You seem to have struck a snag on number 14, sir. A 4-letter word meaning Egyptian goddess.
Never did have time to get acquainted with those Egyptian girls. I leave that to my grandson.
If I may suggest, sir, it's Isis. I-S-I-S.
Bless my buttons, so it is. There. If we could get this one about the extinct bird, we'd have it done.
Grandpa, Keats forgot to wear his overshoes, and I reminded him twice before he went out.
3 times, if I may say so.
Was it? I declare, I don't know what to do about that boy.
Extinct bird. Now, Grandma, I wouldn't worry about the boy's overshoes. He'll get along.
You know how these wet spring days are. I'm so afraid he'll catch his death of cold. I wonder if he wore his muffler. Did you notice, Grandpa?
Can't say that I did. Extinct bird.
Miss Boggins, did you notice if the professor wore his muffler?
Yes, madam, he did. I made a point of reminding him that you had reminded him of it.
You know how subject he is to sore throats.
Keats never had a sore throat in his life. Never had any kind of pain in the neck. But sometimes he give one to other people.
What a way to talk about your only grandson. I've always been so careful with him. I suppose you think I'm an old dodo.
That's it, sir.
What's what?
Dodo, sir. An extinct bird.
So it is. There. We finished it. Trouble is, they don't come hard enough.
I sent for a new book of crossword puzzles, sir, and I'll be glad to try them with you. I have it out in the kitchen now.
I knew you wouldn't fail me, Miss Boggins.
No, sir. They're pretty tricky, sir.
Keats ought to be back soon. I wonder what the dean wanted to see him about.
Some college affairs, I suppose.
Dear me, I hope Keats hasn't gotten himself into any trouble. You know how quick-tempered he is.
You forget, he's not a little boy anymore. The dean isn't going to ground him.
Gracious, I should say not. With Keats a full-fledged professor of ancient history, his classes at the college are crowded.
Mostly by young ladies, madam. So Cook informs me.
Well, I'm sure Keats doesn't like that. He doesn't approve of modern girls.
I wish Keats knew a little more about modern girls and a little less about ancient ones. Now, in my day, a young fellow didn't shut himself up between the pages of a history book. He got out and raised a little...
Grandpa.
Raised a little dust, that's what he did. Kicked up his heels.
Right you are, sir. I could cut a mean rug myself in my young days.
There's still a lot of dash left in the two of us yet, eh, Miss Boggins?
You bet your boots there is, sir, if I may use a bit of slang. I've still half a mind to get married myself, if I ever meet the right man. Just a moment, sir.
Well, I'm sure Keats didn't expect any company tonight. I distinctly heard him say he was going to work on his book about Cleopatra.
That mummy?
A young person to see the professor, sir.
So you want to see my grandson, do you?
I didn't say I wanted to see him, but I've got to.
Won't you sit down, dear? We expect the professor back at any moment. He's gone to see the dean.
About me?
Dear me, I don't think so. You're Vicki Randolph, aren't you? I've seen you at some of the college teas.
Yes, I'm Vicki Randolph, and I'll stand, thanks. I'm too thoroughly and absolutely mad to sit down.
Not mad at Keats, are you?
Yes!
Why, Vicki, take off your coat, dear. It's warm in here.
Even if he is your grandson, I can't help what I think of him. He's the most conceited, arrogant, disagreeable. What's the use? I said all that to him in class this afternoon. That's why I'm here.
To say it again? Well, bless my buttons.
No, to apologize. He said if I didn't apologize before tomorrow morning, I'd have to drop his course. And if I do that, I can't graduate this June.
So you insulted your teacher, eh, young lady?
He insulted me first. I had written a beautiful theme, perfectly beautiful, proving that Cleopatra was an old, two-timing stick in the mud, and that modern women are so much cleverer
And he didn't like it? Cleopatra is quite a favorite of his.
He said I was a presumptuous little snip without a sensible idea in my head.
Keats should be more polite. I must speak to him about it.
So that's when you started in with the arrogant, conceited, disagreeable part, I suppose.
It was when he said I was showing off because I had an attention complex that I let him have it.
Let him have what, dear?
A bottle of ink. Right to the face.
Gracious me.
You mean to stand there and tell me that you threw a bottle of ink at my grandson and hit him in the face with it?
No. Worse luck. I missed him.
Tut tut, my dear. I'm sorry to hear it.
Oh, you are?
Sorry you missed him. A little ink in the face might wake Keats up.
Grandpa.
He ducked. Dad would be ashamed of me if he knew my aim was so poor. Dad's the fastest trigger man in northern Montana, where I come from. When did you say you expected the professor back?
Anytime now.
How do you do, Mr. Appleby?
Never mind, Miss Boggins. I'll announce myself.
But it's not customary, sir, if I may say so.
Don't bother, Miss Boggins. I'm already in.
Very good, sir.
Greetings and salutations, Mrs. Perry.
Hello, John.
How are you, Mr. Perry? How are you?
Glad to get my hand back in one piece.
Keats around?
Keats is at the dean's office, but we expect him back at any moment. This young lady's waiting to see him.
John and I are old friends. Our dads went to school together.
So, Vicky Randolph, calling on dear teacher, are you? You always were a teacher's pet.
I think he's poison, and you know it. But I've got to apologize because I threw a bottle of ink at him.
Sissy, I thought you told me it was a dictionary.
That was last week after school. He just walked away and pretended not to notice. But this time he got good and mad, so I've got to apologize.
Serves you right, my sweet. Keats is too swell a guy to have a little snip like you.
Now don't you start in on me, my pet. I've stood enough.
Am I glad I made my humble living in an office, not in a classroom. One afternoon with you and I turned gray.
No, you wouldn't, John. I'd like to have you for a teacher, but Professor Perry hates me. Oh, he's coming up the walk now. Would you mind if I go into the garden while John gets him into a good humor? If I do apologize, I want to make sure it works.
Of course, dear. I do hope Keats hasn't got his feet wet.
I won't do it. I won't. He should have known better than to ask me.
Well, what, Keats, dear? And don't you see that John's here?
Oh, hello, John. Glad to see you.
Hi, old man. What's on your mind? The dean ball you out?
Keatsy, dear, are your feet damp? You forgot to wear your overshoes, and I told you, you know
My feet are fine, Grandma. No, he didn't ball me out. But I told him I won't do it. The whole idea is preposterous. It's simply preposterous.
What idea?
Dean Smithers is retiring this month.
What's preposterous about that? He's an old man.
He says the board is considering me as the new dean.
Isn't that marvelous? I always knew they would appreciate how clever you are.
Too smart for his own good, I sometimes think.
Grandpa, sit down, Keatsy, dear, and take your shoes off. I'm sure your feet are wet.
Say, old man, that's great news. You'll accept, of course.
No. You haven't heard all of it yet.
A string or two attached, eh?
Decidedly.
Well, let's hear it. Maybe I can straighten things out for you.
He said it's quite unusual to select a man of my age, but he thinks I'm steady and dependable.
So you are, dear, if only you remember your overshoes. Take off his shoes, Miss Boggins, and put on his slippers. I'm sure he can't do a thing for himself.
Very good, madam.
Of course, he knows some of the girls in my classes have been a little silly, writing me notes and leaving me flowers and such. Little fools. Not that he blames me in the least. Well, the upshot was he says they want a married man for the new dean. And I can have the job if I get myself a wife.
What?
Imagine that. Me, with a wife. He knows what I think of modern girls. I told him I positively will not consider getting married.
Hey, now wait a minute. You didn't turn him down, did you?
I did. But he said he felt sure I'd changed my mind, so they're keeping the offer open for 3 days.
And now get a smoking jacket, Miss Boggins. I want him to be comfortable.
Very good, madam.
What's so difficult about getting married? Can't find a girl who'd say yes? Is that it?
My grandpa, you know the girls all like Keatsy. They'd all marry him if he asked.
Serves them right if they all did.
Now look here, Keats. You're a fool if you refuse this offer. Why not be sensible, pick out some nice girl, and just settle down?
Never.
Why not? You're the type. You like a woman to fuss over you. You just lap it up.
I do not.
Oh, no? What about this slipper episode? Your feet were no more damp than mine are. Now, me, I'm just the opposite. The girl doesn't live who could outsmart me. I'm a wary old fox, I am. I can get along without them.
I tell you, no woman is going to complicate my life. I have my work to think of, my book to finish. A modern girl would drive me crazy. What do they think of anyway? Permanents, powder puffs. They titter and giggle if a man so much as looks at them. Or else they're bad-tempered, spoiled little brats.
Tut tut.
If I had my hands on one little devil, I'd shake her till her teeth rattle. What do you suppose she did today? She threw a bottle of ink at me. At me, the professor.
But you ducked.
Yes. How did you know?
The little devil in question is waiting out in the garden for a chance to apologize to you.
Vicky Randolph is here?
Yes, dear, and don't be too hard on her. Give Miss Boggins your coat, dear.
Vicky's not a bad kid when you get to know her.
I don't care to know her any better. I've got enough samples of her vicious disposition.
Slip your arms in here, dear. Now the other arm.
Hey, what's going on? I don't want to put on my smoking jacket. Give me my coat back. Stop fussing, Grandma. Let me alone.
But, Keatsy, dear, shall I get your pipe for you?
No! Now you say Vicky's waiting in the garden?
Yes. Come in, Vicky. The professor will hear your apology now.
It might be a good idea if we all clear out, eh, John? An apology is hard enough to make without an audience.
You said something there. Poor Vicky. Think over the dean's offer, Keats. Getting married isn't so bad, they tell me. Not that I'm a married man, after all. No, sir. The girls can't run fast enough to catch an old fox like me.
I won't do it. I won't. It's preposterous.
Professor Perry,
Well?
I apologize for my conduct this afternoon.
Oh, you do?
I just said so, didn't I?
I heard you.
Then it's all right for me to return to class tomorrow?
Provided there's no repetition of the incident.
There won't be.
Very well. I would advise you to keep a closer guard on your tongue in the future, young lady. Any girl who's so utterly lacking in the first principles of good manners as to call another person the names you called me today.
There's no need to criticize my manners.
Don't raise your voice to me.
I didn't.
You did.
I didn't.
You certainly did. Don't shout at me.
You're yelling at me. And I apologized.
Mere words don't constitute an apology.
I suppose you'd like me to get down on one knee.
Don't be facetious.
Don't call me names. If you didn't have such an exaggerated idea of your own importance, if you weren't such an insufferable, opinionated...
Now who's calling names? Listen to me, young woman. It's time someone took you down off your high horse. You're the most insolent, presuming, bad-tempered...
I'm not!
So you call this an apology,
I
do
said
you?
I was sorry!
You don't act it. If I wasn't a self-controlled man, I'd take hold of you and shake you till your teeth rattle. That's what you need. Sorry, are you? Sorry?
Yes, sorry. Sorry. You heard me, sorry. Sorry I didn't give you that ink bottle full in the face! There, now you know.
Get out of this house.
You can't make me.
You will never step foot in my classroom again. You're expelled. Understand? Expelled.
I'm not. You can't put me out. I'll go to Dean Smithers about it. That's what I'll do.
Oh? So you'll go to Dean Smithers, will you? Perhaps you haven't heard he's retired.
I'll go to the new dean then. You can't keep me from graduating.
Oh, no?
No. The new dean will make you let me come back to class after I've apologized.
Haven't apologized.
I have. I'll show you can't run this whole college. Just wait till the new dean hears about this.
It may interest you to know, young lady, that you're speaking to the new dean right now.
What?
The board made me the offer tonight, and I've decided to accept.
Oh,
That rather alters the situation, doesn't it? Think it over. I'll give you exactly 3 minutes to make up your mind. I expect an abject apology, young lady. Abject. Or you're expelled from my classroom.
I won't do it. I won't do it. I can't. I'll get even with him. See if I don't.
You've got to, Vicky Randolph.
3 minutes. He can't put me out. Yes, he can if he's the new dean. No, I won't do it. He can't make me.
Oh, dear. What shall I do?
I gave her just 3 minutes. Why, she's gone.
Not surprised. High-spirited little minx.
Listen, old man. I'd give her another chance if I were you.
No. And she needn't think she can go over my head about the matter either. John, I've made up my mind to accept Smithers' proposition. I'm going to be the new dean.
Great, old man. That's just great.
Ouch! Are you trying to cripple me?
You're going to get yourself a wife. Who's the lucky girl?
Got anybody in mind, Keats? Except Cleopatra. You can't marry a mummy.
I've never seen a girl I'd look at twice.
In my day, a young fellow always had his eye on some sweet little miss.
I've told you what I think of modern girls. There isn't one I'd cross the street to say hello to. But if I have to find myself a wife to become dean, then I guess I'll get one.
Going to advertise?
That's where John comes in.
Me? Not on your life. Here's where I go out.
We've been good friends for a long time, John.
Why the touching reference to our friendship?
Well, you know what I mean. Locate a girl. Find out what she thinks about me. And if you think she's willing, well, I guess I'll marry her. And that's that.
Have you gone quietly nuts?
Certainly not. I'm just determined to be dean. But I can't be bothered chasing after some girl, giving her candy and flowers and whispering sweet nothings in her ear.
Bother?
Treat her with decent politeness. I'll support her.
That ought to make a girl happy.
Why shouldn't it? You pick out a girl, John, and I'll marry her.
I've never had a commission like this before. I don't quite know how to go about it. How would one of the college girls do? A senior, say?
Absolutely not. That's out. Little fools, all of them. But you will do it, John?
I suppose so. Good old John, the faithful friend. Ugh, what a sucker I am to say yes. Might be fun at that.
I've got to tell Dean Smithers definitively within 3 days. Today's Thursday. Means I ought to be married or at least engaged by Saturday.
Kind of rushing things, aren't you? Took me 90 days to work up enough courage to pat Grandma's hand, and then she slapped my face.
Love won't enter into this. I want a suitable wife. That's all.
But how do I know what kind of girl will suit you? Tall? Short? Straight? Round?
Blue-eyed, pop-eyed, cross-eyed.
I don't care. You make a couple suggestions, and I'll look them over. Not that it makes much of a difference anyway.
Oh, yeah? Well, don't mind me. I'm just an innocent bystander.
I'll go tell Dean Smithers that I'm going to accept his proposition.
So I'm to pick a wife for him. Or better yet, line up 2 or 3 hopefuls and let him take his pick.
Seems like that's what he wants.
The funny thing is, any girl in town would probably jump at the chance to marry him.
Just who does he think he is? Prince Charming?
Vicky, I thought you'd gone home.
Oh no. I've been sitting in this chair and I heard everything. John, my pet, I know the very girl for the professor.
Now you stay out of this. It's none of your business.
I'm making it my business.
Run out of home like a good girl and keep your mouth shut.
You listen to me, Jonathan Appleby. I won't keep my mouth shut if you don't let me help. And how will your fine professor feel if everyone in the college knows he's trying to find a wife so he can become dean?
You wouldn't do a thing like that.
Wouldn't I just? I'd love it. I'd eat it up. Now, do I help with this matrimonial business or don't I? Speak up, my pet.
Well, you win, my sweet.
Sort of figured she would.
I can't wait to see the fun.
What fun! You won't be around to see it. Don't forget, your apology went haywire.
So it did. But I'll apologize again. Abjectly. I'll be a changed woman. I'll grow wings. See if I don't.
Well, I thought he'd change his mind. But why don't you let him pick out his own wife?
He can't be bothered with a little thing like that. He's asked me to do it.
Me too, but that's a secret. John and I are going to talk it over together. Aren't we, John, dear?
Yes, my sweet. Not that I need your advice. I've already thought of the girl for Keats. The perfect wife.
Who?
You've met her? My little secretary, Priscilla Morley.
Oh, her.
The sweetest little thing. She'll do anything he tells her. Do you remember what big, trusting eyes she has, Vicky? They'd melt any man's heart. Keats won't be able to resist her.
Oh, he won't? And if she's such a marvelous secretary, why do you want to get rid of her?
I didn't say she was a marvelous secretary. She's not. Her spelling's atrocious. But she'd certainly make an ideal wife for some lucky man. Keats will be crazy about her.
Can she cook?
What's that got to do with it?
Keats ought to have a wife who can cook because he'll be living in a home of his own once he's married. I would suggest someone like Miss Tootsie Bean. She's won prizes for her cooking.
Tootsie Bean? She's impossible.
She would look after him and see that he wears his overshoes.
I know just the girl for him. She'd make his life much more, interesting than either Tootsie or Priscilla.
Interesting, eh?
Yes, Valerie Whitman, the cutest little southern girl. The college boys are crazy about her. When she slays them, they stay slayed.
No such word. Slayed.
There is when Valerie's around.
Miss Bean makes all her own clothes, too.
Beg pardon, sir. Here's that new book of crossword puzzles, sir.
All right. Let's forget the crossword puzzles and get back to finding a wife for the professor.
What, sir? Is the professor getting married?
And how? To the slickest little southern girl.
No such thing. Priscilla is just the girl for him.
Beg pardon, sir, but isn't it kind of sudden?
Not my idea, Miss Boggins. I'm just an innocent bystander.
Well, I'm not. And I have the brightest idea.
What now?
Since we can't come to a decision, let's pool our ideas.
How do you mean?
We'll each pick a candidate and we'll make a pool of it. You know, write our candidate's name on a slip of paper, put up, say, $10, and whoever wins gets the money.
By Jove, miss, that's a jolly idea.
Well then, how about it?
Dear me, it doesn't seem quite right.
Of course it doesn't.
I think it's a swell idea. Of course, another swell idea is for me to tell all of this to the whole college.
You win again, my sweet. All right, we'll make a pool of it. Boy, oh boy, might be fun at that, eh, Miss Boggins?
Boy, oh boy, I'm getting blisters on my back, sir.
Now, Keats himself suggested that I pick out 2 or 3 girls and let him take the one he likes best.
The professor takes a wife. How that man loves himself.
We should have some way of getting all the candidates together at the same time. How about a dinner party? You'll give a dinner party to help Keats make up his mind, won't you?
Do you think I should, Grandpa?
Whatever you want, my dear.
Yes, I'll do it. When would you want this party?
Tomorrow night. He has to decide by Saturday. You'll invite John and me, won't you? I'm going to apologize again.
Of course, dear.
Now then, about the pool. I'll take Valerie.
And I'll take Priscilla.
Good. Somebody ought to take Tootsie Bean. The more the merrier. Who will take her? You, Mrs. Perry?
Dear me, no. It doesn't seem quite right to me somehow. But she is a splendid cook and a very nice girl, too.
Who will take her then? You, Mr. Perry.
Oh no, I'm just an innocent bystander.
We can't have a good pool with just two. Come on, Mr. Perry, take her.
Not me.
Somebody's got to take Tootsie.
Beg pardon, miss. I'll take her.
You?
Yes, miss, if I may be so bold. I am quite a bit of a sport, miss, and rather enjoy taking a flyer now and again.
Miss Boggins, you've got yourself a candidate.
Good for you, Miss Boggins.
Well, since you don't need me, I'll go and speak to the cook about the dinner party. You're sure you won't do anything that would displease Keats?
Not a thing, Mrs. Perry.
But don't tell him that I'm in on it, or that there's a pool.
All right, dear.
Any more candidates? No? Let's get it started. Who will hold the bets?
Beg pardon, sir. Why not put the money in that jar?
Just the thing. Mr. Perry, suppose you officiate since you're a disinterested party.
Glad to, my boy. You'll find paper and pencil on the telephone stand back there. Write down the name of your candidate and put up your money. Step right up, folks. Pick the winner. Pick the winner, folks. $10 enters your candidate into the Great Wife Derby. Whoever picks the lucky girl gets the entire pool, each and every dollar of it. Pick the winner, folks. Pick the winner.
My money is on Valerie. I know how she slays them. Here you are. $10.
Thank you, lady.
Here's to Valerie. One flutter of her eyelashes and he's out cold.
That's what you think, my sweet.
That's what I know, my pet.
Here's to Priscilla, the sweetest little wife a man could want.
Thank you, sir. Thank you kindly. Are there any more entries into this Great Wife Derby?
My money's on Miss Tootsie Bean, sir. The finest little cook in town. May she win his heart through his stomach.
Thank you, lady. Thank you kindly. Are there any more entries?
That seems to be all.
Then I hereby seal this jar. Keep an eye on it, folks. Keep an eye on it.
If your grandson was half as good a sport as you are, I could get along with him.
But you are going to apologize to him.
Yes, abjectly. That was the word he used, and that's the way I'll do it. Miss Boggins, will you please ask him if he'll see me now? Speak as if I've just come back, contrite and broken-hearted.
Very good, miss. Good luck, if I may say so, miss.
Thank you, Miss Boggins.
What are you going to say to him, my sweet?
Never mind, my pet. I told you, I'll be a changed woman. The angels in heaven will be proud to call me sister from now on.
Would you like us to leave the room?
Not this time. An audience will stimulate my performance. Now, do I look sufficiently contrite and broken-hearted?
I understand from Miss Boggins that you have something to say to me.
Yes, Professor.
I'm listening.
Oh, Professor, I just can't forgive myself for the way I've acted.
I don't wonder.
I've been devilish.
You have?
I deserve everything you said to me.
You do?
I don't mean to be so hateful.
No.
I try so hard to be good, but something comes over me and I act like a demon.
You do?
Perhaps it's because I've had such a hard life. Never anyone to say a kind word to me. Perhaps if I'd had a father's love and affection, or a mother's tender care, things might have been different. But to my stern old Aunt Mehitabel, I've only been a burden.
I can understand that very well.
Can't you picture me? A poor little waif going from school to school, friendless and alone. Oh, Professor, please be a little kind to me. Say you'll forgive me and will let me return to your class. It's the only bright spot in my life.
realized you felt like that about my class.
Life has taught me to hide my true emotions under a mask of bitterness. On my bended knees, I beg pardon for my unpardonable conduct.
All right. I forgive you. Let's put the whole matter behind us. And I hope your life will be a little happier from now on.
Oh, thank you, dear Professor. Your kindness, it's too much for me. I can't bear it.
Vicky, wait, I'll see you to the door.
So the girl's had a hard life, has she?
If she had a stern old aunt, she must have kept her in the attic. I spent summers at her ranch since I was 12. I never saw one.
That little minx.
Have you ever met a girl who wasn't? It's like I say, Mr. Perry, a man's got to keep his wits about him all the time. Let him weaken once, when the fog lifts, he finds himself on the wrong end of the fishhook.
I guess you're just not a ladies' man, John.
Love him and leave him. That's my motto. There's always a prettier face around the corner.
Do you know, I'm beginning to think I may have misjudged that girl. Half a chance she may be quite presentable.
Maybe you're right, my boy.
I forgot my coat. Good night, dear Professor.
Good night, Vicky. Did you notice she was actually crying when she begged me to take her back in class?
Yeah, I noticed.
I'm rather sorry for the child. Say, you're a good friend of hers, John. Did you ever meet this stern old aunt she speaks of?
I'll tell you frankly, Keats. I spent summers at her ranch in Montana, and not once in all of that time has her aunt ever said a polite word to me.
Really? No wonder the child is so bitter. You know, the more I think of this becoming dean idea, the better I like it. Despite the fact that it involves me being married. I've told Dean Smithers I'd have a wife by Saturday.
Quite likely you will, my boy.
Remember, John, I'm relying on you.
How could I forget?
You won't fail me?
I'll have you married or engaged by Saturday, even if I have to hog tie you.
And now, I wonder if you'd care to have me read you my latest chapter of my book about Cleopatra.
Who?
You know, the mummy.
I do value your reaction to it.
Sure thing, old man. With your understanding of women, anything you write about them ought to be interesting. See you later, Mr. Perry.
Five, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. There. All fair and square. May the best girl win. May the best girl win.
How are you progressing with the puzzles, may I ask, sir?
I'm working on one right now, Miss Boggins. What if I were a 5-letter word? No, my mistake, 3-letter word, meaning gullible old fool. What would you say I am?
Beginning with an A, sir.
I'm afraid it does.
Begging your pardon, sir. Then I would say you're a silly old donkey, sir.
I believe you're right.
Where are they all?
Grandma, Perry, has the girls cornered for a lecture on flowering shrubs. And Mr. Perry's in the kitchen trying to borrow a pencil from the cook. a chance to speak to you alone.
I sneaked out to the garden to run the day. How do you think things are going?
Oh, here you are, sir. And Miss Vicky. I hoped we could have a little consultation.
That was my idea too. Quite a dinner party, wasn't it?
If I may say so, Cook outdid himself with tasty dishes, at my suggestion, miss. Did you notice that when the conversation turned to cooking, Miss Tootsie Bean spoke eloquently of lemon chiffon pie?
So what?
The professor's eyes positively glowed, sir. I told you the way to a man's heart was through his stomach.
Nonsense. He never took his eyes off Valerie all through dinner. How could he? I've never seen her more dazzling.
Well, my sweet, she's wasting her time on Keats. I watched him closely, and he kept turning to Priscilla. All she has to do is look at a man, and he's sunk.
Oh yeah, my pet? She sent plenty of smiles in your direction, and I notice you're still afloat.
That's different. I'm not a married man. No gal is going to snare me, eh, Miss Boggins?
I tell you, sir, the professor was most favorably impressed with Miss Bean. When she mentioned her fondness for whipping up a chocolate marshmallow fudge cake, I could tell he had made up his mind. The money is practically mine already, sir. It's like taking candy away from children.
That's what you think.
Neither one can compare with Miss Tootsie Bean, then. Mr. Barry, sir, wouldn't you say that Miss Bean is making the best progress, sir?
Valerie's got him flabbergasted, hasn't she?
Listen, Mr. Perry. Tell them he didn't have eyes for anyone but Priscilla.
Now, don't ask me. How should I know?
But he did keep watching Miss Bean, sir.
You mean Valerie?
You mean Priscilla.
If you'll let me get a word in edgewise, I'd like to say he had his eyes on Vicky here when she was caressing that salt shaker so thoughtfully, thinking of throwing it at him. Were you, Vicky?
Oh, wasn't that dreadful of me? When he made that remark about man's intelligence being so superior to women's, I almost forgot myself and let him have it.
So I noticed.
Here he comes now, sir.
It was kind of your grandmother to invite me. I have so little pleasure in my life.
As a matter of fact, dinner was a little overwhelming. I hadn't expected to see quite so many young ladies. 3 of you. And Vicky.
Meaning I'm no lady?
You're making excellent progress, my dear. Except for that little episode with the salt shaker.
You did notice that?
Yes, but I also noticed how admirably you exercised your self-control.
Thank you, dear Professor. I'm trying to model myself after Valerie. She's so very charming, isn't she?
Oh, yes, indeed.
I hope you two will get better acquainted. She admires you so much. I must tell her you said she's charming.
I said she's charming?
There is no charm quite like the cooking, if I may say so, sir. When Miss Bean spoke of that chocolate marshmallow fudge cake, I could feel my mouth water. Couldn't you, sir?
Oh, yes, of course.
I heard Miss Bean say she thinks you are so clever, sir. I must tell her what you said about her fudge cake, sir.
What I said about her fudge cake?
Well, Keats, things are looking out just the way you wanted them.
Are they?
Here we have a nice little dinner party, and 3 girls hanging on your words. It's as plain as the nose on your face that you have to only ask when you have yourself a bride. Which one will it be?
Well, 3 of them, John. I'm in a quandary. What I'm trying to decide is which one will give me the least trouble.
Well, really, old man, that isn't for me to say. I want you to feel free to marry the girl you really like, without any influence from me. Understand?
Yes, of course.
Now, I don't mind telling you that I think Valerie is a charming girl. Devastating, in fact.
Yeah, she isn't bad looking.
And they tell me she has such a loving nature, too. So devoted to those 3 maiden aunts she lives with.
Is that so?
Oh, yes. In fact, I understand it that she has often said that when she marries, they can make their home with her.
Oh, 3 of them.
All 3 of them. And I'm sure you'd find it quite nice to have 3 old ladies around the house, Keats. It'd be so convenient to have them all remind you to wear your overshoes.
You mean If I marry Valerie,
I'm sure the old girls will take interest in you. Knit mufflers and things.
oh,
I don't want to influence you one way or the other. Tootsie Bean is certainly a marvelous cook, and that means a lot in a man's life.
does it?
Oh yes, there's nothing quite like good cooking. And you mustn't hold that little matter of arsenic against Tootsie either. It really was a mistake.
Arsenic?
In the pie. You see, it was an old sugar box that she used to sweeten the pie.
Oh,
Fortunately, the mistake was discovered before her brother had eaten too much of the pie.
oh, it was.
They rushed him to the hospital, used the stomach pump on him, and in a month or two, he was practically all right again.
Practically?
Just a little indigestion now and then. But you really mustn't hold that against her. She's a marvelous cook, and anyone makes a mistake now and then.
Oh, yes, I suppose so.
Now, I don't want to influence you one way or the other. They're all lovely girls. Say, old man, what did you think of the other girl?
Well, I was watching her particularly. Did you notice how she gripped the salt shaker?
Now, there is a girl that would make a man happy every day of his life.
She does have a vicious temper.
Priscilla. She has the sweetest disposition in the world.
I really do believe she is trying to control it.
Do you notice how her hair curls around her forehead? You couldn't ask for a prettier girl.
She's pretty enough. Except for that habit she has of throwing things.
Priscilla? She's never thrown a thing in her life. Her voice is so sweet and adorable, isn't it?
Except when she's calling me names. Then I'd like to shake her.
Priscilla? What? Say, are you listening to me or aren't you?
Of course I'm listening. What did you say?
Here we have three lovely girls. It's just a question of making up your mind which one.
Yes, I suppose that's all there is to it. Which one?
By the way, perhaps I ought to mention Priscilla. She's an orphan, and she's never tried to cook in her life.
I'll try to make up my mind.
Think it out for yourself, old man.
I wonder if she'd care to read that book about Cleopatra.
Am I smart, or am I smart?
Think so?
When I fix things, I fix them.
Seems as if you make a good attempt anyhow. I guess Keats isn't used to so much feminine company. He feels more at home with Cleopatra.
Say, what are you writing there? That's no crossword puzzle.
Who said it was? No, John. All this talk of choosing a wife takes me back to my young days. Well, do I remember when I was courting Grandma? Those were the days.
Bet you were a killer.
In my day, when a fellow was courting a girl, he used to write poetry to her. Many's a pretty verse I wrote to Grandma, and I'll never forget how it pleased her.
Can you imagine Keats writing poetry?
I know. I was just remembering, sort of wondering if I had lost my knack for rhyming. I haven't.
You mean you've just written a poem?
You'd hardly distinguish it by the name of poetry. But if a bashful young fellow were to give it to a girl, she'd know he thought a heap of her. Yes, sir. She might even up and pop the question herself.
That gives me an idea.
Figured it would.
Let me see the poem.
Of course. I'm not quite so good as I used to be. It rhymes, though.
To my dream girl.
Funny. They all like to think a man dreams about them.
Your eyes are like the stars above. Your cheeks are like the roses. My bashful lips can't speak of love, but my poor heart proposes. Not bad at all.
Time was when I could have done better. I like it myself, but we poets are all sort of partial to our own verses.
Say, would you lend me this for a little while? I'd like to study it over and all that.
Not thinking of writing poetry, are you? I thought you weren't a marrying man.
No, I have an idea. That's all.
Go ahead, take it. Of course, it's just a little thing I dashed off in a hurry. You can keep it if you like. I remember how it goes, and I can write it down again.
Thanks. Funny thing is, it It's practically perfect for what I have in mind.
Figured maybe it might be.
Huh?
Just an old man's notion, John. Don't mind me. Guess I'll amble off and talk to Vicky for a while. I rather like that girl.
Go ahead.
Might have a little chat with Miss Boggins, too. See if her candidate has made any more progress.
I wondered where you were, John.
Priscilla, where have you been?
Mrs. Perry was showing me the flowering shrubs over by the front walk. They look lovely, don't they?
I didn't notice. Priscilla, come over here and sit down. I have something to say to you.
They have? You have?
Yes, I hardly know how to begin.
It was so sweet of you to get me invited here tonight. I had only met Mrs. Perry once or twice before, and I think she's the nicest old lady.
You like Keats too, don't you? The professor?
Oh, yes, the professor.
Well, what I wanted to say to you is, put it like this. Suppose there's a certain fellow who's very fond of a certain girl.
Yes, John?
Suppose he actually wants to marry her.
Oh, does he?
But he doesn't have much experience with girls. He's bashful, that's all. Can't find the words to ask her. Well, then, what should the girl do?
Well, I think the girl, if she really loves the man, and she does, John, I think if she really loves the man, she'll tell him. She'll make it easy for him.
That's it. She would help him along, wouldn't she? Practically tell him she was willing to marry him.
Yes, she would. John, I really do care.
Then it ought to be easy. If you feel that way about him, and he feels that way about you, and he does feel that way about you, how could he help it?
Oh, John, I'm so happy.
Then you go out there and tell him how you feel. He's in the garden now.
Oh, who?
Keats. He's, so fond of you, and it would be a very suitable match.
Oh. Are you sure you even want me as a secretary anymore, John? Was I as bad as all that?
Nonsense. You were swell. Anyway, I think you're a great little girl, and that's why I want to see you married to some good man like Keats.
Yes, like Keats. Why are you so sure he wants to marry me?
Oh, I didn't tell you? It was the poem that made me realize it. I guess he's been worshiping you from a distance for a long time now.
What poem?
It's about you. Thought you'd ought to know. Here it is.
To my dream girl. Why, I had no idea he felt like this about me.
Then you go out there and tell him how you feel. He's in the garden. Make it easy for him.
Yes, I will.
That's the spirit, Priscilla. You'll make a swell wife for any man looking to settle down. Not that I'm the marrying kind myself.
You're not?
No. The girl doesn't live who could lead me around by the nose. But Keats? No, he's different.
I suppose a girl can have everything in life, and it's something to know that a man like Professor Perry loves me. I knew I could do it.
I beg your pardon, but could you tell me where the professor is? I'd love to have a little talk with him.
Gal, you've got courage. You mean you actually want to speak to Keats? Alone?
I sure do. He was so nice to me at dinner.
That's just because his grandmother was there. He's always polite when she's around.
But
Haven't you heard what a woman hater he is? If a girl gets him in a corner for 5 minutes, he goes positively wild and bellows at her.
fellows?
Like a bull. Like this.
Oh my goodness! I didn't know that.
I just thought I'd put you straight. You might get an awful shock if he started to bellow at you.
I sure would.
What a man. What a pleasure it would be to tame him.
Huh?
I always did want to meet a real woman hater, to see if I really do have any charm, you know?
Oh!
Those silly college boys are always flattering me, but I reckon a man like the professor is different. I'd just adore to find out if I can really make an impression on him. Thank you so much for telling me.
Something upset you, my pet?
Ah, my sweet.
Having a good time, Valerie?
Oh, I just adore being here. It sure was darling of you to give me an invitation, Vicky.
Glad to. I was afraid you'd be all dated up.
I did have a couple of engagements, but I broke them. It isn't often I get the chance to talk to an older man like the professor. He sure does make the college boys look mighty childish, doesn't he?
Professor Perry's not old.
Oh, no, honey lamb, I didn't mean he's old. I just think he's the most fascinating age. And now that I know he's a woman hater, I simply won't be able to keep away from him.
Who told you he was a woman hater?
John, he tried to warn me. Wasn't that nice of him?
He was too kind. Good old John. Say, Valerie, about that little trouble you were having at the shops, is that straightened out yet?
I reckon you mean those dreadful old bills I owe for these poor miserable little rags I wear.
Yes, your Paris hats and original gowns.
Dear me, I'm afraid I'm in just deeper than ever, Vicky. I'm afraid I'll never be able to keep to my allowance.
No.
I reckon I don't have the right kind of head for balancing figures.
It balances hats better. So you owe quite a lot, do you?
More and more every month. My aunties say I'll just have to get married soon so somebody else can pay my bills.
Not meaning to change the subject, but let's get back to the professor.
I'd adore to.
When I found out how he felt about you, remember, you met him at the spring festival?
I reckon I do. Such a simply fascinating man.
Well, when I found out how he felt about you, I thought it only fair to bring you two together.
How does he feel about me, honey lamb? How do you know?
I found out by accident. I was in a study last night and, well, here's a little poem.
A poem.
It's about you.
About me? How nice. To my dream girl. I sure do like the way it begins. Oh, the dear sweet honey lamb. I reckon he won't bellow at me when he feels like this.
Didn't you notice how he was watching you all through dinner?
He was?
Don't make believe you didn't know it, and your aunts will certainly be pleased if you marry him. He's rolling in money.
Is he? Oh, I just think it's so nice if a girl just happens to fall in love with a man who has money.
Quite convenient, too. The only trouble is the professor is bashful with girls. He may not know quite how to propose to you.
I reckon I can help him just a teensy-weensy bit.
I would if I were you. I heard Grandpa say he's out in the garden.
I bet I can give him just a teensy-weensy hint that I know how he feels about me. Oh, I just know I'm going to be so happy.
I just knew I could do it. And old Smarty Keats will have to keep his nose to the grindstone for the rest of his life to pay off her bills.
Oh, I thought I'd find the professor in here.
I haven't seen him for quite a while, Miss Bean.
Oh, do call me Tootsie.
Okay, Tootsie.
Isn't he just the cutest thing?
The professor? I've seen cuter. Ahem.
Don't mind me. Go right along with your girlish confidences.
Must you come in here to read, my pet?
Yes, my sweet. See, they're having a little trouble in Europe.
Oh, see how the bulls are bellowing in Spain. You snake in the grass.
Goodness me, I don't know anything about Spain. I just came in here to see if the professor would like me to bake him a lemon chiffon pie. He seemed so interested when I spoke of it at dinner.
I'm sure I wouldn't know. He looks like a bad case of indigestion to me.
He just needs some good home cooking.
Where do you think he's living? In China? Come to think of it, though, I think he's been living with Cleopatra on the Nile.
We women must learn to overlook those things. Oh, but I just love to give him a lemon chiffon pie.
In the face.
Oh, what did you say?
I said he has a nice face.
I noticed that right away.
I see eggs have gone up 2 cents a dozen.
If I had a dozen, I'd know how to use them.
How, my sweet?
Don't tempt me, my pet. Don't tempt me.
She's gone at last.
Why, yes.
Listen, Tootsie. I came here on purpose to warn you about the professor.
To warn me?
Don't be alone with him. He's subject to spells.
Spells?
Yes. One moment, he's calm as a summer's breeze. The next, he's likely to get a sudden spell and reach for your throat.
Oh.
Like this.
Oh, don't!
I just thought I'd warn you for your own good. Don't let him get you alone.
Oh, I won't.
Didn't see you there, Miss Boggins.
I fancy you didn't, sir. Beg pardon, miss. Was he saying something about spells?
Oh, Miss Boggins, isn't it dreadful?
Not the way you think. Poor Mr. John.
Why?
He's the one who's subject to spells, miss, but he thinks everybody else is.
You mean the professor is all right?
Of course. Poor Mr. John is to be pitied in his affliction, miss.
Oh, I'm so glad it's not the professor.
I wonder if I might speak to you confidentially, miss?
To me?
You won't think I'm too bold.
Oh, I'm sure you aren't bold, Miss Boggins. I'm sure you're quite nice once a girl really gets to know you.
Thank you, miss. And if I may make so free as to return the compliments, I'll say you will be a lucky man who weds you, miss.
Oh, Miss Boggins, come over here and sit down beside little me. We can talk better that way.
Dear me, no, miss. I know my place better than that. But if I may presume to tell you a little secret in confidence, miss, just make believe I'm a little birdie, miss.
Oh, I adore little birdies. What kind are you, Miss Boggins?
Let's say I'm a bobolink, miss.
And you know a little secret? Do tell me, Miss Bobolink.
It's about the professor, miss, and you.
Something else nice the professor said about me? Oh, men.
Not exactly what he said, miss. Some people pour out their hearts in the romantic language of poetry, miss. I thought you might like to read it.
To my dream girl. Oh, Miss Boggins, do you actually mean the professor feels like this about little me? How absolutely thrilling.
Yes, isn't it? The professor is what you might call a bashful man with a lady's miss. And if you should happen to return his affection, it would be a kindness to tell him so.
Your eyes are like the stars above. Oh, I'm just thrilled to pieces. Do I have nice eyes, Miss Boggins?
Quite nice, if I may say so.
To think he's felt like this about me all this time.
If you'd care to come out through the kitchen, miss, I think you might find him in the back part of the garden.
You're so good to me, Miss Bobolink Boggins.
It's a positive pleasure, miss. If I may be so bold as to suggest it, there's a moon tonight, and the professor can't find the courage to ask you to be his miss, perhaps.
I know just what you mean, Miss Boggins.
Oh, a conference? May I come in?
Oh, yes, indeed, Miss Vicky. What I said about taking candy away from children, miss, still stands.
That's still a you thing.
Dear Miss Boggins.
Don't go, Vicky. I need company.
I thought you had company out in the garden.
I did. Or at least I would have if I hadn't ducked. But I heard them calling me.
Who was calling you?
Priscilla and that other friend of yours. And I think I heard Miss Tootsie Bean coming around just now by the kitchen. I hid behind the walnut tree.
Oh, you hid?
Yes. I still haven't made up my mind about a certain matter yet.
Can I help?
I'm afraid not.
I'd love to help if I could. You've been so nice to me tonight.
As a matter of fact, I like you better than I did.
Oh, Professor, then you don't think I'm altogether hopeless?
Oh, no, indeed. I'm quite pleased with the progress you've made.
Honestly, are you? I mean, you wouldn't just say that, would you?
Honestly, my dear. A nice, capable little hand, Vicky. And one that should get over that distressing habit of throwing things.
Oh, Professor. If you're through with my hand, may I have it back now?
Here. I'm sure I don't want it.
I won't disturb you any longer. I know you want to make up your mind about that. Certain, madam.
Here you are. Didn't you hear me calling you out in the garden?
Oh, was that you?
Won't you sit beside me?
Yes. Thanks.
Isn't it beautiful out tonight? And we're gonna have such a lovely moon. Don't you love the moonlight?
No. No, I hate it. It's bad for my blood pressure.
I know just how you feel.
No, you don't.
I do, and I think that poem you wrote about me was beautiful, simply beautiful. I hadn't realized you felt like that about me.
Like what?
You see, it's only tonight that we've really gotten the chance to know each other, and when John told me, well, I just want you to know that I know how you feel about me, and I am willing.
Willing?
Yes, I'll marry you anytime you say.
You'll what?
Yes, and I'll try my best to be a good wife. I'll learn to cook and I'll mend your socks.
Now, did I understand you say you'll marry me? John explained everything.
Yes, everything.
Oh. Well, I suppose that's that.
I know you're thinking now.
No, you don't.
You're wondering if I'm going to kiss you now that we are engaged.
Oh, really? You don't have to, really.
I don't mind a bit. There.
Wait, where are you going?
To tell John I'm resigning as a secretary.
Well, that's that.
Oh, Professor.
Oh, hello, Miss, Valerie.
Didn't you hear me calling you out in the garden?
No, I didn't hear either.
Won't you sit down?
No, thanks.
Are you worried about something, honey lamb?
No, I'm just thinking.
About me?
Well,
You don't need to be so bashful with Valerie. I know what's in your heart.
I'm not bashful.
Oh, but you are, honey lamb. It took that lovely poem of yours to make me understand you. I just adore a man who writes poetry.
What has that to do with me?
Oh, I just adore the way you stride up and down. It's so masterful. I can hardly keep up with you.
Then don't try.
You have the most fascinating way of snapping at a girl. I don't know how I was ever satisfied with those silly college boys.
What?
I mean, I really didn't know what true love was until I found out that you cared for me, honey lamb.
What?
You're not deaf, are you, honey lamb? I'm just giving you a teensy-weensy hint that if you ask me...
If I ask you what?
Oh, you're my dream man. You actually are. Kiss me, darling. Kiss me.
Now wait. Now wait.
Why should we wait when we love each other? We can be married at once.
Can't I tell you?
Oh, but we can, honey lamb.
Stop calling me Honeyland.
Don't you like it?
No, I hate it.
Oh, I just adore the way you growl at me. We can be married tomorrow.
Guess who?
Let go of me.
Surprise, it's little me.
Oh, not again.
A little bird showed me the poem you wrote about me. And I'm just thrilled to pieces to think that you've loved me all this time.
What poem? Now, Miss Bean,
Tootsie to you, dear Professor.
I'm afraid there's been some kind of mistake.
Boy, I wouldn't be surprised if you were marrying me for my chocolate marshmallow fudge cake.
I'm not marrying you for anything. I tell you, there's...
Or my lemon chiffon pie. Your poem told me everything, my precious. Little Tootsie will be your wifey any day you say. Aren't you going to give your girlie a litsy bitsy kiss?
How dare you hang on my honey lamb like that?
I'll cuddle with him all I want to.
He's engaged to me.
Valerie.
Oh, but he said he was engaged to me.
What's the meaning of all this? Keats is engaged to Priscilla, aren't you, Keats?
Have you all gone crazy? The professor is my fiance, aren't you, Honeyland?
He's mine.
Aren't you precious?
No, we're getting married. Aren't we, dear? I won't give him up. Neither will I.
If you think I will, you're mistaken. The professor loves me and I can prove it.
I can prove it. I'm the one who can prove it. Here's a poem he wrote about me. I suppose that settles the matter.
Oh, no, it doesn't. He wrote one about me, too.
Bless my buttons.
I'm afraid the girls don't like each other.
Wait till you'll hear the one he wrote about me. To my dream girl, your eyes are like the stars above.
What? What? Your cheeks are like the roses.
My bashful lips can't speak of love, but my poor heart proposes.
He's tricked us!
Betrayed our girlish affections. Oh, my poor little heart. I feel dizzy. I just know I'm going to faint.
There, miss. I'll take care of you.
Oh, Professor, how could you?
This is going to take some explaining, Keats. You can't do this to Priscilla.
What about Valerie? If she says he's engaged to her, he is.
If you only give me a chance to explain.
Explain to these other girls if you can. I know you love me and I'll never give you up. Boggins, my rap.
Beg pardon, miss. Under the circumstances, perhaps you had better get it yourself.
Oh,
She's no more fake than I am.
I am so.
There.
I am so. She can't talk about me like that. And you can't treat me like this.
Upon my word, sir, Bobette K. Boggins won't stand by and allow this little girl's heart to be buffeted about like a
Butterfly in the breeze.
butterfly in the breeze. Thank you, sir. No, sir, I'll not allow it.
And just what you propose to do about it.
Why,
I'll tell you what I'll do about it. I'll tell my big brother on you. He won't let his Tootsie be spurned. You'll be sorry when my big brother hears about this.
Who's her big brother?
he's Butcher Boy Bean, the wrestler, miss. Wait a moment, miss.
He's Butcher Boy Bean. The wrestler.
So what kind of mix-up is this?
I don't know.
It must be a mistake.
It is a mistake.
I won't ask you to explain now. Just know that I trust you, and this will all work out eventually. No, come on, Will. I'll stand by you no matter what.
I'll see you home, Priscilla. Isn't she the most wonderful girl? 1 in a million.
Looks like things got sort of tangled up somewhere. You hadn't go off to have done it, my boy. Proposing to 3 girls in one night? It's too much.
There's a law against bigamy. Or is it trigamy?
But I didn't propose to any of them.
Tut tut, didn't they all have a poem you wrote about them?
I've never written a poem in my life.
Haven't you now?
Yes,
Wonder how they could have gotten that idea.
It's no mystery to me.
My poor Keatsy.
Yes, poor Keatsy. That doesn't help anything. When Dean Smithers gets hold of this story, that I'm engaged to 3 girls at once, he'll be through with me. My chances are ruined.
My poor boy.
He wanted someone sane, steady, dependable. And what do I offer him? Don Juan.
Maybe you can explain to him.
Explain to him that 3 girls swear I love them and are determined not to give me up. Oh, you're still here. You're not laughing, are you? What are you laughing at?
At you.
Why, you little.
That's right. Start calling me names again. I don't care. You're in hot water up to your neck, and I hope you never get out.
If you had anything to do with this,
Of course, I had something to do with it. I said I'd get even with you, didn't I? I know all about this fine scheme of yours to get married. I planned to turn Valerie loose on you. I suspected you'd fall for that southern accent of hers.
Well, let me tell you,
And then you could spend the rest of your life paying her bills. But this is better, much better. Now you've got 3 of them on your hands. It serves you right.
You scheming little hypocrite.
That's right. And what are you going to do about it?
I'll shake you till your teeth rattle.
Oh, yeah? Just take one step closer and I'll let you have it. Come on, take one step closer.
Bless my buttons, this is no place for innocent bystanders.
Threaten me, will you?
Take one step closer.
I'll shake you till...
You won't! What are you doing?
I like you.
If you think I like you, you're crazy.
Yes. Suppose I am. Forgive me, Miss Randolph. It was another mistake. I didn't mean it.
Did you think I thought you did?
You look like a young fellow who just got himself rejected.
I like her? I like her.
At 8:30. Yes, that's right, Tootsie darling. Hurry and pack your bag, my little honeysuckle. I'll be waiting. Goodbye, Angel. Now then, next number. Let me see. Hillside 5663. Hello. Can I speak to Miss Valerie Whitman, please? Oh, this is you, Valerie. Guess who's calling? It's your own honey lamb, Keats. Yes, Keatsy. Maybe my voice does sound a little funny. I have a slight cold. Listen, sweetheart. We'll elope with me tonight. Yes, elope. Of course I don't love those other two girls. No, darling, you better come here. They'll be less likely to suspect. Hurry and pack your bag, my little honeysuckle. I'll be waiting. At 8:30. Goodbye, Angel. Bless my buttons, this is too easy. Hillside 3999. Hello, is this Priscilla? Guess who's calling? Keats. Yes, I have a slight cold. Listen, sweetheart, will you elope with me tonight? Yes, elope. Of course I don't love those other two girls. No, darling, you better come here. They'll be less likely to suspect. At 8:30, hurry and pack your bag, my little honeysuckle. I'll be waiting. Goodbye, Angel.
Oh, Grandpa, at your age.
Now, Grandma, what's the matter?
I heard you calling some other woman honeysuckle and angel. I'm going home to Mother.
Tut, my dear, don't fuss.
Who is she?
The girl I was calling just now? Miss Priscilla Morley.
Oh, and you're brazen about it. Goodbye, angel.
If you'd come in 2 minutes before that, you would have heard me say the same thing to Miss Valerie Whitman.
What?
And 2 minutes before that, I said the same thing to Miss Tootsie Bean.
Oh, so you want all of them. And to think I trusted you all these years.
And you didn't make any mistake in trusting me either. You see, I didn't call up those girls because I loved them. In fact, none of them knows that I was the one who called.
Then why did you do it?
Because I tangled things up a bit for Keats, and I sort of have to straighten them out again.
Seems to me you're just mixing them up worse.
It'll work out all right. You'll see.
You're sure?
Of course I'm sure. Now just run along and be a good girl and don't ask any more questions.
But
Just let me go ahead in my own way.
Will anyway.
And you'll say no more about going home to your mother.
Not this time. But, Grandpa, do be careful.
What's a 5-letter word for trouble, Miss Boggins?
I couldn't say, sir.
If it's any more women to Mary Keats, tell them he's joining the Foreign Legion.
Very good, sir. If he's a wise young man, he'll marry Miss Bean, sir.
Will he?
Butcher Boy Bean, the wrestler, has no fear of the Foreign Legion, sir.
Trouble. 5 letters.
It was no lady at all, sir. Only Miss Vicky.
It's remarks like that that are getting me down. I don't care for the triumphant glitter in your eye, Miss Boggins.
Glitter, miss.
Yes, glitter.
Really, miss.
Every time you look at that jar back there, you positively gloat. Well, if you think Tootsie Bean is going to get him, just change your mind. Valerie is going shopping on Monday to buy her wedding dress. That shows you how confident she feels.
Trouble. Miss Boggins, do you have any ideas?
No, sir. Put this in your pipe and smoke it if I use a bit of slang, miss. Miss Bean went this morning to see her brother. Now you know how confident she feels.
Seems as if we're in for the battle of the century.
I have it, sir. The 5-letter word for trouble.
Yes,
Women, sir.
maybe she's right. Ever try crossword puzzles, Miss Vicky? Good for the nerves.
I haven't any nerves. Can't you think of anything but those old puzzles?
What else should I think of?
Your grandson. What's he going to do?
Not worrying about him, are you?
Certainly not. I just came by to tell you that I've spoken to Valerie, and she says she's determined to marry him just to show Tootsie and Priscilla that they can't put anything over on a southern girl.
That's what you wanted, isn't it?
I thought you might be interested to know, but evidently you don't care.
The boy has to get married sometime. Probably Valerie will make him a capable wife.
Yes, capable of spending his money before he even earns it.
Is that right?
And she may be cute looking, but she hasn't a brain in her head. That's why I picked her in the first place.
But, well, then it seems as if things are working out just the way you wanted them. And I'm sure Keats has brains enough for 2.
He certainly doesn't act it.
Oh, no doubt he'll choose Valerie. And that ought to please you.
Yes, it ought.
But with all 3 girls claiming him at the same time, there's bound to be a lot of unpleasant scandal.
There will be?
And the college probably won't want Keats for dean any longer.
No, they won't, will they?
They probably won't want him on faculty anymore.
I guess not.
Oh, no doubt he can't get a job at something else.
What, for instance?
Maybe as a plumber's helper. I'm sure he can be relied on to forget his tools.
You're fine, grandfather. You've had your fingers in this pie all along.
Have I?
You gave all 3 of us that poem on purpose. You think it's all a joke.
You laughed at him last night.
Yes, I laughed at him last night. And it served him right, too. Where is he now?
Sulking in his den. I wouldn't go near him, my dear.
I have no intention of going near him.
On second thought, I believe he's taking a bath.
I am not interested, thank you. I'm going to talk to Mrs. Perry.
Miss Tootsie Bean and her brother, sir, to see the professor, sir.
Where's he at? This him? Just let me get my hands on his neck. I'll show him if he can jilt my little sister. You gonna look with Tootsie, or do you want to die?
No, that's his grandpa.
Oh, well, why didn't he say so?
Sort of took my breath away to think you mistook me for a fellow young enough to court such a pretty young girl as your sister.
Oh, you men.
Well, Miss Boggins, are you responsible for this visit?
Oh, no, sir. Though I must say that I have expected it, sir. Butcher Boy is not one to hold back and allow his sister to be jilted, sir.
That's telling him, Miss Boggins. I'm here to make sure this little girl is done right by, see? And I've got what it takes.
Oh, Butcher Boy, you're so strong. Lucky for little me that you're my big brother.
You said it, sis.
Bless my buttons, so it is. Did I hear you say something about an elopement?
Bet your life you did.
A little while ago, the professor called me on the telephone. I was so excited I could hardly recognize his voice.
Is that so?
He asked me to elope with him at 8:30, didn't he, Butcher Boy?
Well, that's what she told me.
He asked me to come here so those other girls wouldn't suspect. My bag's all packed, and I have a delicious surprise for him.
I knew he'd see the light. Lemon chiffon pie is not to be sneezed at, if I may say so, miss.
Miss Boggins, how did you know? That's what it is, a lemon chiffon pie.
In that box, miss.
Yes, indeedy. Would you like to take a litsy-bitsy peek, Miss Boggins?
Would I, miss?
How does it look?
Oh, words fail me, miss. Words fail me.
Grandpa, will you come? Oh, I didn't know you had company.
You have company, my boy.
Keatsy, my sweetsy.
That's him?
Yes, that's my sweetsy. Look, precious. Look what little Tootsie has brought you. A lemon chiffon pie.
Oh, a pie.
Say, he don't sound like he's none too pleased.
Of course he's pleased. Aren't you, precious?
He better be. Listen, you're gonna marry my little sister, see? And you're gonna be crazy about her cooking, see? See?
Yes, I see.
Any guy that ain't crazy about her cooking gets a taste of my knuckles, see?
Yes, I see.
Give me that piece you cut as a sample, Tootsie.
Here it is, Butcher Boy.
We'll soon find out how he likes it. Here, you, bite into this.
Yes, Keatsy, precious. Take a litsy-bitsy bite and tell little Tootsie how you like it.
No, I'm not hungry.
You'll eat it now or you won't never feel hungry no more.
Look, precious. Isn't the crust heavenly?
Yeah, ain't the crust heavenly?
It's divine.
Oh, I'm so glad you think so. And isn't the filling positively inspiring?
Yeah, ain't that filling something? It's right up in! What's he mean by that? Shall I slug him one?
Don't hit him, Butcher Boy. He means he likes it. Oh, I'm so relieved. You know, I got to thinking that maybe I made a mistake with the sugar again.
Oh! The sugar! I'm poisoned!
Upon my word, sir!
Let Keats go. Can't you see he's in a rush to get dressed so he can elope with Tootsie?
Oh, is that it, huh?
You can let go of Miss Boggins now, Butcher Boy.
I forgot I had a hold of her.
I think elopements are so thrilling, don't you, Miss Boggins?
I'm all agog myself, miss.
If you want to keep this elopement a secret, I suggest you wait in another room. I'm sort of expecting company any minute.
Oh, I want to surprise everyone.
Beg pardon, miss. I would be honored to have you and your brother wait in the kitchen with me. It's quite cozy out there. Miss?
That's right. Wait with Miss Boggins. When Keats is ready, I'll go to the door and signal for you.
What signal? We don't want to make no mistake about this.
I'll sing. Some jolly little tune.
All right. Come on, Butcher Boy. Thank you, Miss Boggins. We'll be waiting.
Don't come across, or else!
Don't worry about it, Miss Boggins. I'll answer it.
Very good, sir. By Jove, sir, isn't he a remarkable man, sir?
Come in, Valerie. Come in. Keats can't see you for a few minutes. He's taking a bath.
I don't mind waiting a little bit. Mr. Perry, let me whisper a little secret to you.
What is it?
Don't tell a soul, but Keats and I are going to be married tonight.
Well, bless my buttons.
The dear Honeylamb called me on the phone and said to be here at 8:30.
He did.
I've packed some of my prettiest dresses in my bag, but I sure do wish I had more time to shop her simply super gorgeous wedding gown.
Well, maybe next time.
What?
I said it's too bad you didn't have time.
Yes, isn't it?
But I think you look very nice just the way you are.
Mr. Perry, I reckon you say that to all the girls.
Who, me?
I would have bought new shoes, too, if I had more time and more money. But I reckon the professor will buy me plenty of new clothes once we're married and pay off all my old bills, too.
I reckon he'll have to. But I wouldn't advise you to wait in here, Miss Valerie. I'm sort of expecting company any minute, and naturally you'll want to keep this a secret.
I sure do. I don't want those jealous girls to find out.
Then why not wait out in the garden? When Keats is ready, I'll go to the door and sing.
I sure hope he doesn't keep me waiting long. I lose my patience so easily.
Grandpa, poor Keatsy is just terribly upset about something.
Is he?
I'm so worried about him. Grandpa, why don't you go and talk
Not
to him?
now, my dear. Some other time.
But I do think something ought to be done about it.
Hi, old man. Good evening, Mrs. Perry.
Good evening, John and Priscilla.
Priscilla was nervous and she confided in me about the elopement.
Elopement?
So I came along to wish them both luck.
He's just awfully anxious to get me married. I suppose I must have been a much worse secretary than I thought.
Nonsense, Priscilla.
But, John...
You were the dearest, sweetest. I just don't know how I'm going to get along without her, Mrs. Perry.
Must you?
Under the circumstances, I'm afraid so. She can't spell, but I'll certainly miss seeing her pretty little head bent over the typewriter.
Oh, John.
And that's a fact. Where's Keats?
He's, taking a bath.
Nothing like making a clean getaway. He said 8:30 over the phone, didn't he, dear?
Yes, I've never eloped before and I feel awfully nervous.
Tut tut, my dear. The first few times are always the hardest.
Once was enough for me, but the older I get, the more I begin to think maybe I was a little hasty.
Well, my dear, we have a few other guests in the house, so I suggest that you wait in some quite secluded place, perhaps the front terrace. When Keats is ready, I'll go to the door and sing.
I don't suppose you'd care to wait with me, John?
I don't mind. As a rule, I'm not one to sit around with girls. But since it's you, Priscilla, I don't mind if I do.
Not so fast, young fellow. I don't know if I want you as my grandson's fiancé. I'll take Priscilla out and show her where to sit.
What do you know? An old codger like him, and he nabs my girl right from under my nose.
John, I'm so worried, and I really must tell someone, and Grandpa won't listen.
Not just now, Mrs. Perry. I have so much on my mind. Let's see. A clerk, a minister.
But, John, the three other girls, they...
Priscilla is certainly putting one over on them, isn't she? I can't wait till I see Vicky's face. And Miss Boggins. Will she be burned up?
But, John, he can't elope with...
What's to stop him? Boy, oh boy. I can hear the wedding march now. Do they play the wedding march at elopements?
Not when three girls want to elope with the same man.
What?
I've been trying to tell you, and you wouldn't listen. That's why I've been so worried.
Say it again, and say it slowly.
I went out to the kitchen and found Tootsie Bean and her brother out there. She's waiting to elope with Keats.
Tootsie?
And just a moment ago, Valerie arrived. She's waiting to elope with Keats, too.
What?
We've got to help Keats.
Help him? This is terrible. Yes, that's what I'll have to do. Good old John, the faithful friend. If I don't rescue him, who will?
But how can you do it?
Strategy. That's all it takes. Strategy.
Poor Keatsy. Just think of it. 3 young ladies wanting to be his wife.
His wife. That's it. He's already got a wife.
John, you know Keats doesn't have a wife.
But he's going to have one. A temporary one. In about 5 minutes. And maybe a few children, too. Whose kids are those playing in the yard next door? Strangers, aren't they?
Oh, they're cousins of the Joyces, our neighbors. Just visiting them for a few days. Why?
You'll see. And now, I'd like to borrow a few of your glad rags. Do you have something that will fit me?
Have you gone crazy, John?
Nope. But I have an idea that will keep the professor from going crazy.
What are you going to do now?
Give the professor a temporary wife until he can sneak away and marry Priscilla.
What are you two up to? Wait till I tell Mr. Perry I caught you hugging his wife.
If Grandpa can go out and sit with a pretty girl, I guess John and I can cut it up a little.
Atta girl, Grandma.
Where do you think you're going?
I'm getting out of here. I can't stand any more of this. Half crazy.
Bragging again.
Go ahead and laugh.
A lot you know about girls. Too bad you're not engaged to Cleopatra.
Why did you come here tonight? To gloat?
It's none of your business.
I'll make it my business. I have to put up with enough already without having you laugh at me.
I'm not laughing. I'm not. I'm not.
Stop arguing with me, or I'll shake you again.
You don't dare.
Oh, don't I? Just take one step closer, and you'll see if I dare.
There. I knew you didn't dare. You're afraid of me. You don't dare lay a hand on me. You don't dare.
I'll show you. I still like you. In fact, I think I love you. Vicky,
Yes?
aren't you angry this time?
Do I act it?
You mean, you like me too?
You're so stupid I'd like to throw something at you.
You darling. And to think I called you a hateful, spoiled little brat.
I am. I tell you, I deserve everything you said to me and more, too.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
I hope I'm not interrupting. I just wanted to come in here and tell you that if you're ready now, Priscilla's out on the front terrace, waiting.
Priscilla? Waiting? What for?
To elope with you, so she said.
Elope with me?
Said you called her up and told her to be here at 8:30.
I called her up. Now, wait a minute.
What makes the situation sort of interesting is that Valerie's out in the garden, waiting.
It's a plot.
Seems as if she expects to elope with you too. Oh, yes. Tootsie and her brother are seeming to expect to elope with you too. And what's more to the point, he said so.
I'm going out of my mind.
Did you ever even have one? Why, you deceitful, philandering, two-timing!
Stop calling me names. Why, you simple little fool. Can't you see? I don't know anything about
I
this.
see, all right. I see plenty.
Grandpa, stop singing.
Let him sing if he wants to. You can't boss everybody.
Grandpa. Grandpa, will you stop? Grandpa? Why don't you lie down a minute? You'll feel better.
I feel fine right now, my boy. But brace yourself, for you're going to feel a lot worse in about 3 seconds.
I'm ready, dear. Are we going now?
Kate's honey lamb.
Little Tootsie's all ready.
What are you all doing here? He's eloping with me.
Oh, no, he's eloping with me. No, I'm gonna be his little bride. He said so.
Now, wait a minute.
You can't have him. He's mine.
No, we're gonna get engaged. You can't jilt me again. My brother won't let him.
Listen, girls.
I won't listen. Are you eloping with me or aren't you?
Butcher boy, he's trying to jilt me again.
Oh, yeah? I'll fix him.
Bless my buttons, maybe I miscalculated somewhere.
Here's where you suffer, bozo. There ain't nobody who want the little pieces when I get through with you. Think you'll get away, do you?
Now, wait a minute.
Say your prayers, bozo. Say your prayers. Keatsy!
My darling husband!
What?
Can't you say something? It's your loving wife, Lulu. Lulu? Don't you remember, darling? You deserted me 5 years ago in Boston.
In Boston?
Bless my buttons. Keats, I never knew this. Why doesn't somebody tell me these things?
A wife? So he had a wife all this time? Oh,
I had to hire a nasty old detective man to find out where he was. The naughty boy. He left me because I burnt his toast one morning. Oh,
because you burned his toast?
so careless of me, wasn't it?
My own grandson, a wife deserter.
I should have appreciated a good husband. He never did beat me, except on Sundays.
What was the matter with Sundays?
Oh, those were the happy days. We were such Catholic children when we married. I tried to give up without you, Keatsy, darling, but I'm afraid I just couldn't bear the rent any longer. Or feed the children.
The children.
I'm afraid I've just run terrifically into debt. But you'll pay it all, won't you, darling?
But Lulu, listen. Lulu.
The children will be so glad to see their dear daddy again. How they have missed you.
Children? How many?
So you even forget how many children you have? Why, you despicable insult!
Stop calling me names!
I won't!
A little Susie keeps asking, when will Daddy get out of jail? That probably explains your accents, dearie.
I wish I were safe in a good jail right now.
How will we fix the money, Keatsy, darling? The children need new shoes.
Well, I have a job, but I may not have it long.
Mama will take him to lunch like she used to. Come here, children. Daddy wants us back. She's still being daddy, children. I'm being too sick for Get me out of here. Get me out of here. I'm going to faint. Help. She's here. She's here.
We'd best get out of here. The shop is in too much trouble. My buttons are right now. She's up and running.
She's gotta get air. Come on.
What? Peter! Where's Peter boy?
I've never been so deceived in my life, but I reckon I'll get over it. No wicked old white man is gonna break my heart. The wretch. Believe me, you'll never see me again.
I never dreamed of anything like this. Not so fast, dearie. And he's been trying to lure you. He wanted me to marry him. Isn't that just like Keatsy? There, have a try of Lulu. Lulu in the sky.
He deceived us all. He'll never trust a man again.
Don't trust a woman either, dearie.
John!
Oh, Priscilla. Now scram, kids. You did fine. You certainly earned your ice cream cones. The fun's over. like good kids.
Bye, Daddy. Bye, Daddy.
Is this your idea of a joke? Those children nearly finished me.
Well, Mrs. Perry, how did I do?
Just beautifully, John. You knew all the time? Of course I did.
Why did you do it, John? Why?
Because all of this mix-up was really no fault of Keith's. And I wanted him to feel free to marry the girl he really loves.
Oh, John, how in the world did you know?
I'm not blind, am I? I can see how lovely she is. How sweet and adorable. I knew you couldn't marry the other two when Priscilla was around.
But, John,
I know she'll make you very happy.
but, John,
Won't you, dear?
I'll try.
but, John, Vicky.
Don't try to explain. So it was Priscilla all the time.
Of course it was.
You were just amusing yourself with someone else.
Vicky, wait.
I've already overstayed my time. Now I'm on my way back to Montana. Talk about gullible little fools. I never want to see you again. Never, never, never.
Dear me, it sounded as if she meant it.
Are you ready? The town clerk is saying open to give you the marriage license, and the minister on the corner is waiting to perform the ceremony.
Oh, you don't miss a thing, do you, John?
No, sir, not me. I hope you know that you're getting the dearest, prettiest, most adorable little girl in the whole world. Just think of seeing her face across the breakfast table every morning of your life. Boy, oh boy. I must envy you.
What's up, dear? What's the matter?
Nothing, I'm just so happy.
First time I ever heard a happy girl cry like that. That reminds me of a story.
They haven't time to hear it now, Grandpa.
I think they better. It was about a fellow named Miles Standish who wanted a wife. There was a girl in it called Priscilla and a boy called John. But it escapes my mind for the moment what it is the girl said to the boy. Do you happen to recall, Priscilla?
Yes, yes I do.
Then I suggest you say it now before it's forever too late.
I will say it. Why don't you speak for yourself, John?
Priscilla? You don't mean...
I was so worried you didn't care for me that I was going to marry the professor.
But I thought... You said... When I took you out how he felt, you said...
I thought you were speaking for yourself.
Angel. Sorry to break up your romance like this, Keats. But it turns out I am a marrying man after all. And the preacher is waiting.
Oh, John.
Oh, Priscilla.
Oh, fiddlesticks, get going.
We'll send you a postcard from Niagara Falls.
Love my dears.
I didn't know you cared that much about her, my boy.
Priscilla? Vicky? Don't you understand? Vicky? Loved her all along. Blind to see it. Now it's too late. Who called all three girls here tonight and said I would elope with them?
Well, it seems as if I did. I thought it would work out all right.
You called them here?
Yes, I sort of figured they'd all think you were a heartless flirt who couldn't be true to any one girl, but it seems as if I slipped up somewhere.
Never mind. I suppose it's my own fault for being so utterly stupid as to think I could let someone else pick a wife for me.
Yes, I sort of figured you'd find that out.
Beg pardon, sir, but can I have a few days off, sir? Best pie this side of heaven.
Miss Boggins, can I believe my eyes?
You can, sir. Butcher boy and I have reached an understanding. I'm going to be his bride, and Twisty is going to cater our wedding. The crust would melt in your mouth, sir.
Fine. Take a week off, Miss Boggins. Take 2. Bless my buttons, take a whole month off if you want.
Oh, thank you, sir. We'll send you a card from Niagara Falls, sir.
Seems as if everyone around here gets a wife but you.
Give up. I'm done. I'll never be Dean now. Vicky's the only girl I want to marry. She said she never wants to see me again. Vicky. You came back.
I forgot my coat.
Vicky, wait. Priscilla, I didn't want to marry her or Valerie or Tootsie.
I know I'll be.
Please, you have to listen. I picked my own one.
Why tell me about it?
Because it's you. Vicky, will you? Not sure how to say anything. I don't know where to start. Vicky, I think you're swell. Your eyes are like, well,
Your eyes are like the stars above. Your cheeks are like the roses. My bashful lips can't speak of love, but my poor heart proposes. There, I knew I didn't waste my time on that poem.
it's not so bad when it's said to the right girl. Vicky, don't you even like me a little bit?
Oh, you prize idiot. Couldn't you tell I loved you by the way I threw that bottle of ink at you?
Bless my buttons. We all forgot all about the pool.
Let's keep on forgetting it. We all lost.
What fool?
Just a little game a few of your friends were playing. But it seems as if I'd like to hear the names read anyway. Grandma, will you?
Valerie Whitman.
Sort of figured she'd console herself with one of those college boys.
Tootsie Bee.
With Miss Boggins in that family, Tootsie will be baking twice as many pies.
Priscilla Morley.
It took an old codger like me to make John open his eyes. Go on, Grandma.
But that's all. No, there's one more. Vicki Randall.
Bless my butt, it seems as if someone could have guessed right after all.
Grandpa, you little darling. You were betting on me all along.
I think I'm beginning to get just a little of this.
Seems as if I'm not so bad at puzzles after all. I'm $30 to the good, too.
This money will come in handy for that spiffy new spring dress I saw down at Finchley's.
Bless my buttons. Talk about your grasping modern women. Cleopatra had nothing on you, Grandma.
Don't remind Pete of that old mummy. I'm sure he's had his last day with